What's up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's been a hot minute, but it's good to be back. Anyway, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, hit the little bell notification. Here's a chart. We're rebuilding. My goal is to hit 100K before my birthday on October 7th, so please help me make that happen. Anyway, so if you are in the Midwest, you know that it is tornado season. It's literally right around the corner. Tornadoes are going to be everywhere. And when you're at a psych hospital, a lot of kids that come in during this season are always like, what happens if there's a tornado, and they kind of get nervous and they really just want that extra like sense of security. So I was going to tell you guys today what happens if there's a tornado, where we go, how we handle it, what the precautions are, and kind of just everything that entails, because there have been a couple times, and I'll do story times, where I was either on my way to work and there was a physical tornado, or I was trying to leave work and couldn't because there was a tornado and I had to help the kids. First I'll go over probably the stories, because I feel like that's a little more entertaining. The first time, and then we'll do like what you do, but the first time it happened, I was actually at home and the tornado siren started going off, and I was supposed to be at work at 7 p.m. and it was like 6:30 and I needed to leave, but I could not get there because the weather was so bad. So as a staff, what we had to do was like literally call and be like, I'm so sorry, like my safety is 100% at danger if I try to get to the hospital. And they were like, just get there when you can. But I actually ended up not going in because the weather was so bad and there were so many trees down that I just couldn't make it to the hospital, which was definitely, I picked up another shift, but the weather, like, safety comes first when you're a staff. The second time, though, I was at the hospital. It's a lot more interesting. It was shift change. The sirens were going off. We knew they were going to go off. I actually thought I was going to get home first before they went off, but I didn't. The sky was like green. Typical Kansas tornado weather. And basically at that point they were just like, no staff can leave because no staff can get here because the weather's so bad, and we were locked in at work till probably midnight just because there was people's houses were damaged, cars were flipped, power lines were on the ground, people couldn't get to work. And if no one can get to work, no one can leave. So they let the people with kids who had to leave. I stayed. And we just kind of like ran a movie night for the kids. But how we handle it on the units is a whole different ballgame. And during tornado season, when a kid asks, I try to sit down and I walk them through it, because I'm from Joplin, so anytime there's tornadoes, I get really nervous. So just having that sense of extra security of like, hey, I know where I go. I know what's happening. I know what to do. I know it helps them. So basically a tornado watch and a tornado warning. Here's the difference. A watch means that the weather is, possible tornado, that the conditions are right, one could happen, one might pop up. Like, it just means get ready because the weather is perfect for a tornado. A warning means there's one on the ground near you and you need to take cover immediately. Both of those stories were warnings. But what happens on the unit is we usually know ahead of time. With the Missouri and Kansas weather around here, you know when storm season's here, and you can just tell when storms are going to get bad. Usually on the Weather Channel, they'll be like, hey, there's a storm coming, possible chance of tornadoes. And when that happens, our bosses usually like sit down with us at lunch or whenever we get like a 10-minute break and like go over, okay, if this happens, you do this X, Y, and Z. These kids go here. But I'm going to pretend that you guys are a new client, and so basically what we do is there is a lower basement. So the first floor of the hospital is like a school, and the second floor is the hospital. And then there's a basement where the laundry is, some offices are. The second hospital I work at's basically the same. It's just one floor in the basement. We do head counts 24/7, to make sure the kids are there, they're accounted for, we know where they're at. The tornado sirens go off. We count, we head count, we go, okay guys, we do quick checks, like no one has anything, drop whatever you have, and we're going downstairs. There is a risk of AWOL. It just is, because they are going down and we are literally opening a door that is a key badge, and they can run out of if they wanted to. I've never had that happen in the 3 years I've worked there, mostly because they're so scared of the tornado, because tornadoes here are very violent, that they won't like run away, they won't do anything. They try to stay in safety, but they could. Like, every time we do that, we know there's a chance of an AWOL. That's why when the sirens go off, most of our bosses are down there by that door just being like, hey guys, go. That way if a kid tries to break through, we have extra team. Which, oh my god, can I just say that if a kid tried to AWOL in a tornado, I would be terrified myself, because I'm gonna have to chase them and I'm about to end up like Dorothy, but that's a whole nother story. But we take them downstairs and they put their heads between their legs and do like the stance you do like in school where you cover your head. Everyone is mixed at that time. So kind of what we do is we have like a staff, our unit, 2 staff, another unit, staff, unit. That way they're like kept separate. The last time we did this, 2 of the kids had beef on 2 separate units and it was really challenging because they wanted to fight while the tornado sirens were going off and we were trying to keep everyone safe. There's stuff like that that's rare that happens. I mean, it's a challenge. It definitely challenges you as a staff, like on your feet, like how am I going to handle this? What am I going to do? You know, like there's a tornado and 2 kids are trying to fight each other, you know, that kind of thing. The little kids are usually really scared, so, you know, a lot of it is comforting them. The hospital's never been hit, but in my head, that building is made out of concrete, and if I had to pick between staying at my house during a tornado or going to the hospital during a tornado, honest to God, I'd pick the hospital because I feel like it's more secure. I feel like it is, and I like it. I would choose that over anything. I would pick the hospital over my house because I feel like it's more, I mean, my house is made out of wood, whereas the hospital is made out of concrete. We do have PRTF, which is on the hill, but they go to their basements, so like they go downstairs, it's in their basement. Fire drills will also do that because I feel like tornadoes and fire drills or real fires, they happen. They happen. But the difference is with a tornado, it's more secure because everyone's going down into like a secured area. Whereas with the fire, there always is someone AWOLing. Someone always runs. I've never done a fire code and not had a kid run. Sometimes it's false alarms. The kids pull the fire alarms all the time. We don't leave the unit then. Someone immediately grabs the unit and I'm like, hey, it was girls unit XYZ. We're good. False alarm. That way no one clears the units and we don't risk a bigger chance of an AWOL. But on the slight chances that like sometimes the kitchen will burn something, that sets it off. There was fire. Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. But anyway, we have to take them outside. Every unit goes outside, and that's where it gets challenging because you have to have your eyes on everyone at all times, and it kind of in a way becomes an all hands because everyone has to go and have eyes on the kids. Everyone goes to one unit or one outside, and you can't stand in the fenced in area because if the fire gets bad, everyone's trapped. So you have to stand outside the fenced area, which is a big open field where everyone likes to run to. So it's a lot of head counts, a lot of like, okay, so-and-so's here, who's got this. When it happens, like everyone from management to like secretaries to cafeteria, everyone's watching the kids because we need to make sure that we have eyes on them. But they always run. There's always like 2 or 3 that like think it's funny. They don't want to leave the hospital, but they want us to chase them. And so there's always that couple of kids that like, they're just like, how far can we push? How far can we push? The best thing to do though is if you get triggered by loud sounds, at our hospital we have noise canceling headphones. The best thing to do is ask for them ahead of time, and when it gets loud, like wear them, but know when that fire alarm goes off, it's loud. I don't like loud noises and it bothers me. And the first thing my kids do is grab their noise canceling headphones and put them on because it's loud and alarming. And as a staff, we're making sure everyone's out of the rooms, we're blocking the doors, we're getting everyone out, we're doing head counts. Like we can't cover our ears, but you guys can, so take advantage of that. A lot of kids don't realize that when you go to psych hospitals, they do have headphones. Not all of them, but the 2 that I work at, both of them are completely separate hospitals. They both have noise canceling headphones, and that's because kids yelling, kids cussing, sometimes quiet just does better with people. The fire alarms, the tornado sirens, you never know what stimulant out there is going to trigger them. And if I were a client, I would want noise canceling headphones because I just like peace and quiet. But that's just me. If you are like scared of tornadoes or something and it's storming outside at night, my biggest advice to you is to say, hey, can I sleep on the unit? So we have boats and then we have rooms. So it's 2 kids per room unless you're a no roommate. Or like the high risk, or if we're overflow, they sleep on boats on the floor, which is literally like kind of like a trundle. If you think about it, it's like a little movable bed. And they sleep out there. If you are scared of storms or it's like a trigger or it's really hard for you, you just don't like it, ask. Say, hey, can I sleep on the unit tonight? Because I hate storms. I hate storms with a passion. I'm actually just terrified of them. But I 100% would be like, hey, can I sleep on the unit tonight? Because I don't like storms and I just feel better with you here. And I'd be like, sure, do it. like feel better. You're here for treatment, so I'm gonna make sure you feel good and safe and everything about that. That's what you need to do, is like priority number one. Another thing you can always ask for is like I tried to explain it. It's not in our manual of what to give you guys. I don't think in case of fire or tornado. I don't think it is. I can't remember. I haven't done an admit in a couple weeks. And they've changed kind of like the way it might be, but we usually tell you guys there's signs everywhere. Especially the first go-to thing that a kid does when they're angry is pull the fire alarm. I don't know why, but they do every single time. And so you get used to like false alarms. You get used to like 2-second call, or it's a 15-second call where if I yell 15-second, you go across the room on one side, and it usually means that the kid who pulled the fire alarm, they're moving and they're afraid like kids are gonna fight them or something. So there's that. I'm so glad to bring this series back. I missed you guys. I love you guys. I finally have motivation to do it. It comes out every Tuesday and Thursday. This channel will only be Inside Psych. I've messed around with it for months trying to figure out what I want to do with it, and just by popular demand, it's Inside Psych. I will eventually have a fun vlogging channel for me up, but I want to hit 100K on this one first. So if you can, like, subscribe, tell me in the comments what you want to see, your questions. I have a whole thing of ideas that I'm going to do for you guys. I love you so much. Remember, it might be a bad day, month, year, but it's not a bad life. I love you so much.